Hello guys, it's great to be back working on YouTube regularly again, and even better that today's video is sponsored by Ubisoft. I have been looking forward to For Honor Year 3 for a really long time, especially playing the new hero and see what other changes there are in store. Before we get into the guide, I would like to explain what the Year 3 pass gets you. Firstly, you get instant and early access to Blackbriar and other new heroes for each season in Year 3. So that's going to be 7 days early each season, 4 heroes in total. Additionally, you get elite outfits for each of them, 30 days champ status, scavenger crates, and exclusive effect on emo. Season 9 does start soon on the 31st of January and comes with a new map, which looks pretty cool. I actually very much like the aesthetic of, called Harbour. I picked up the pass myself, as I pretty much always do with For Honor. And with that, let's get right into the guide on how to Vortiger. To begin, we have his standard chains. These are a 2-attack chain that is any combination of heavy or light. The lights are all 500 MS with low recovery, and heavy finisher is 40 damage with the additional benefit of the undodgeable property, albeit quite slow and proning to whiff at larger distances. Next up is his zone. It's a fairly weak zone attack standalone, being very easy to dodge from the opponent's right hand side, but in combination with the rest of the orange in his moveset, as a result of bashes and unblockables, it can be useful. You can follow up a light attack finisher on bash landing, or on whiff you can also do so to protect from guard break punish. Additionally, you can choose to opt for an undodgeable heavy or feint to heavy after zone miss. Next up, we have the forward dash heavy attack, which does 20 damage. It can be delayed nicely into the dodge, but has poor tracking and poor range. Fortunately, you can follow up with a chain finisher of either light or heavy to cover these weaknesses partially. Tenebris Rising is your standard bash you will be working from for this hero, and offensively it'll be what you are leveraging against your opponent, primarily in combination with the rest of the orange he has access to. It is not a difficult bash to dodge on reaction, but it deals a massive 20 damage light on confirm, and the majority of the roster cannot punish it on reaction to the bash. What I mean by this is if you wait until you see orange glow and unblockable symbol to dodge, you cannot punish it on reaction to that with most heroes. On its own, however, as mentioned, it's a pretty easy dodge. The difficulty in dealing with it results from decision fatigue and it being mixed up with other moves. During a heavy attack, you can input guard break in order to soft feint into a bash, which if successful will confirm a light finisher, dealing again 20 damage. You cannot delay or change the timing on the feint. I believe it is a fixed 400 MS into the heavy it comes out each time. This is actually the most punishable bash the hero has. This is due to its high recovery time if you fail to land it, and an inability to follow up with an attack on whiff. If you do fail to land it, it is easily punishable with a guard break. In addition to this, the tracking is very poor on side dodges, but it does go quite a long distance and will be useful from time to time in 1v1 scenarios, and maybe so a little bit more as a target swap bash in 4v4 modes. This is Blackbriar's running attack, which does 25 damage and is a painfully slow 1000 MS or so with high recovery, meaning a dodge will punish it easily with a guard break or can be parried very easily. Additionally, as it's unfeintable. There isn't much to be said about it other than that at this time. Now this is the second stance that Blackbriar has other than your neutral stance. I'll be showing you more things you can do with this later in the guide, but for now you'll need to know once you go into it, which has a 200 MS entry time, you are blocking all directions and can move at a decent speed whilst in the stance itself. Additionally, you can exit the stance at 200 MS as well. It costs 10 stamina to enter the stance, and your stamina generation will be paused. It will not deplete, it will just pause. Bulwark Slash is the feintable unblockable for 30 damage, costing 32 stamina in the Bulwark stance. When used in combination with the rest of his bashes, it's a very useful tool after some conditioning has taken place. In 4v4 modes, I also expected to see a lot of use. After this, we have the Bulwark counter that I've just been referring to as the flip. Bulwark counter can be activated by pressing light attack whilst in Bulwark stance. It will flip and do 30 damage to any bash or CCs such as Raider Charge, Shaman Bash, Warden Bash, Shinobi Slide Tackle, etc. And additionally, it will flip on blockable attacks, heavy attacks, light attacks, and all that jazz with correct timings. Its vulnerability is to guard break, and missed timings results in eating the attacks or bashes. The active timing feels similar to Aramusha's Blade Blockade vulnerability. More about how you can use that soon. Blackbriar's light attacks have the superior block property, much like Valkyrie's, resulting in a 20 damage light if you perform it on correct timing. If your guard is in the correct position, simply light before an attack lands and you will perform it. Additionally, this results in the ability to bash afterwards. This bash is confirmed, and that will also go on to confirm a light attack, which is another 20 damage, resulting in the entire move doing 40 in total. His dash heavy also has this property, but you cannot bash after the heavy. If you land the light attack, you can chain a Tenebrous Rising bash immediately afterwards. If this bash lands, you will land a light finisher which totals 20 damage. If you manage to pull this all off, it will total 35 damage, which is pretty damn mean. The bash can be dodged after the initial light landing, but if your opponent switches their guard after you land the light, they will be unable to dodge the follow-up bash. Many players are unaware of this, and I can see this being a source of frustration as a result. Another interesting thing you can do with Bulwark stance is to use it to cancel your recovery early after a light or heavy attack. An example of this can be seen in the footage. Deliberate whiffing of attacks in order to bait punishes from your opponent, only to punish them in return with a Bulwark counter or remain safe and block whatever attack is coming your way. Another thing you can do with Bulwark stance, after you regularly block an attack in your normal stance, you can enter Bulwark stance without any delay, resulting in an effective fast flow into Bulwark, allowing you to use it as a very powerful defensive tool. There will be examples of things you can use this for later in the video, but for now it's good to know that you can fast flow into the stance from a regular block with your down input with effectively no delay, resulting in some cool shit that you can do with the hero. Alright, next up guys, I want to show you the outer stamina pressure from Blackbriar. It's really very strong between mixing up all the different orange in his kit, empty dashes, just throwing out lights when an opponent's very tunnel visioned and trying to dodge the on orange. He's quite a strong stamina bully. The OS game is strong in general, and on top of that, there's one thing you should know: if you block a light attack when you're out of stamina, he can get a confirmed bash follow-up after. You won't be able to dodge it, and that confirmed bash will of course confirm a 20 damage light, and that's pretty much what you need to know about his OOS game. Lastly, I just want to mention that he is 0 mess startup on his block when dodging, and what I mean by that is his dodges will block attacks in the direction you've dodged. It will automatically move your static guard there. This results in an easier time blocking many things, and it's very useful. Just don't overuse it or you will get guard broken. Next up, we have the punishes for a variety of situations, of which you'll see the damage numbers on screen. First off, guard break is a side heavy. A light parry is a top heavy. Heavy parry, Tenebrous Rising into the confirmed light. An alternative heavy parry punish for more stamina damage is the zone into the light attack. On top heavy parry OOS, you're going to want to unlock input light and heavy. GB, unlock input light and heavy. On a side parry, your max punish on an out of stamina opponent, you're going to input side heavy, side heavy.
It was the best of times, it was the blur.